Ladislas. My name is Melanie Cherry and I'm an international media consultant. Nowadays I work with journalists and media organisations, advising them on how to develop and implement best practice policies for information gathering and news reporting. For a while now, I have worked with the team that I'm sitting here with, and I consider it a privilege to be part of the dynamic, creative, and bold initiative that we are launching today. We believe that the project that we are embarking on has the power to change Africa's media landscape significantly for the better. So without delaying any longer, please let me introduce you to Ladislas Agbesi, a true African entrepreneur, the chairman of the Pan-African Business Forum, and, we're proud to say, the founding chairman of our own African news agency. Mr. Agbesi.
Thank you. Today is a new day in our history. The dissemination of the stories of our own continent through a syndication of services to the media level. Today we have a real story to tell to this continent. I must tell you that the media here, your role has not been fulfilled till today. We find ourselves here today. The bastion of growth of our continent can only be achieved if the story of this continent becomes the real story funded by Africans, through African, for the whole world. I must say, come and join us for this good news, whereby we are going to be able to give a great service for the whole continent, to change the landscape of our own destiny. I must say that if you guys are very aware of what is happening in the continent today, you will be surprised to notice that certain countries take upon themselves to start doing what we call rebasing of their own economy. Nigeria has been able to do it. Many other countries have been able to do it. But today, with the birth of African News Agency, we have a great hope for this continent. I believe that something great is going to happen in this continent. Thank you.
I'd like to now introduce you to our new Chief Executive, Chris Verrain, who will give us a few more details on the operations of ANA.
Just as a background, as you're aware, SAPA has indicated, certainly in the last week, of their intention to terminate their services on the 31st of March. We have been working with other interested parties, including the SAPA board, as well as GALO, and more recently with KNMR, since early October 2014. Discussions with those parties continue, and we wish to reiterate that our desire is to work not only with other interested parties in both South Africa and the rest of the African continent as well. With SAPA terminating the services on the 31st of March, we intend to commence operations of the African News Agency on the 1st of March 2014. This, we feel, will give our clients ample opportunity to test our offerings, to road test it and panel beat it, to make sure that what we are offering is hopefully the way we see it is superior in every way possible. We're starting with a brand new team. We've looked at both existing SAPA staff, who will be retrenched at Denmark, and also other journalists in both the South African and the African and wider community. From a technology perspective, the technology is something that we are probably the most proud of, and I'll introduce you to Richard Cherry on my right, the CEO of Afrizone, who's developed a homegrown African product which is being used by currently both European and other international companies, called Burger Suite. Richard will speak to that after I've finished. From a content perspective, we will be offering the full suite of syndicated news offerings as is currently offered by SAPA and by other syndication services. Breaking news, politics, economic and business stories, sport, crime and courts, and lifestyle. And most importantly, from a newsroom perspective, daily diaries to help the editors establish their news plan on an ongoing basis. We have, to ensure a complete offering, we are currently speaking with the current syndication partners of SAPA, as well as additional resources to supplement what SAPA currently offers from an international syndication process. At the moment, you're all aware, you might be aware that AFP, who were a big partner of theirs, pulled out towards the end of 2014, and we are working at supplementing that. Following this meeting, and lastly, following from this announcement, we will be actively pursuing clients, both existing SAPA clients, as well as new business across the African continent, offering the African News Agency as a complete text, audio, video, and picture news syndication service. With that, I'd like to hand it across to my colleague, Richard Shea.
The technology that's going to be put in place for RAN on the 1st of March 2015 is going to pretty much power the engine and the minds of the journalists out there. If I think about from a technology perspective, if we look at a financial system, retail systems, publishing definitely encompasses a whole lot more. It caters security, it works with media, it's cross mobile, it's system integrations, the commercial aspect to it, analytical aspect, and also very much a know your customer perspective. So with the assistance and the requirements gathering that we've been intensely involved in over the last couple of months, we believe we have a content aggregation, sourcing, syndication platform that will definitely compete on a global stage. So where are we? So content is content, and content needs to be distributed. So together with the ANA team, we're looking at innovative ways of distributing that content and presenting the content to the users, no matter which role they play. From a system perspective, this might look quite complicated, but if you look at it from left to right, we are able to cater for multiple sources of content and aggregate that very, very effectively. There is an ANA core engine, content redistribution engine, that allows to repackage that content and resell that and commercialize that for the various subscribers, how they need it. From a presentation perspective, we're looking at a web view, mobile view, app views, feeds, as well as tight system integration for those large publishers and subscribers that have the editorial platforms where they would like to know that content can be seamlessly integrated into their current workflow process. The platform will be completely cloud hosted and definitely cater for the global distribution needs that we have across the continent. Giving you a little bit of an insight into ANA's web view at the moment. It's definitely very media rich. We're looking at from an image perspective, image banks, video galleries, as well as the very clean text views that editors are wanting first thing in the morning to pick their stories as to which will be prioritized for the day. As mentioned, the diaries is something that we definitely want to focus on. We see the value of that, and we've got some interesting roadmap capabilities as to where and how to integrate the diary functionality more tightly into the journalist's hands. What we're also looking forward to is very much the localization of content per region and bringing in very much a more localized feel with regards to languages as well as regions so that can be easily filtered and segregated. Great.
This new venture has got 3 pillars, very important for the continent. First of all, we believe that the new bets of African News Agency, with the work some of us has been doing already from the Pan-African Business Forum in terms of reforming the local contents in terms of the media in the continent, is fitting the bill as we stand today. It's a new era of reform in the continent, which started to play its part in terms of regulating the media in the continent. And I think playing this special part of it, coming with African News Agency, we are fitting that gap. The second part of it is the real place of the achievement. This is going to contribute to our continent. We have, through the Sub-Sahara, many growths, which is between 5 and 6%, except South Africa, which is in this level of emerging country. If you look at South Africa today, we have the market capitalization of 1.07 trillion, where the capital trade. Nowhere those things has been really emphasized in terms of the news to the other part of the continent. When you look at the flight capital, which leave this continent, which is 45 billion each year leaving this continent, without understanding where there's information for how everybody can tap into what is happening to the continent and have access to direct foreign investment, is also going to play a very greater role for the people. Now, the last part of it is that, as we discussed with the technical team, is the reliability of the system which we have from the first class, the price model which is going to assist the African continent to be able to access this new technology. That is what is the real news about them. We have countries with 40 years contract with so many other agencies. It's quite difficult for them to deal with it. But the model with ourselves, with our partners, Mr. Sekunjalo, who said, let's see what we can do for the continent. Even when we were talking about investment, many other people tried to invest more. The whole meeting was that let's put together some kind of investment. The subscriber was more than a couple of millions of dollars. But Mr. Survé said, it's just early, let us stop it at this level, this kind of investment, because it's a good news for the whole continent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Agbesi.
This is good for the continent because this has got the potential of creating a platform for Africans to tell an African story themselves, by themselves, and for themselves and the world, rather than seeing the world through news agencies from Europe and North America. So this is really good. And also we are pleased that South Africa is playing a lead role, in many respects in this regard. And it's also going to bring the much needed diversity in news coverage about our country and about the continent. We can't continue sourcing news from BBC, from CNN about our African continent. This is something that we think, as the SACP, is worth supporting.
For more than 50 years we've had in news syndication services that are based in Europe and are based in Asia and that are based in America, giving the African story. So the idea of ANA, African News Agency, is to have 50 correspondents in 50 African countries in 1 year. And we'll have 15 by the beginning of July in 15 countries, and then 3 months later another 15, eventually 50 correspondents led by Professor Agbesi, the chairman of the African News Agency.